But okay, we will move on to the next speaker, and I want to introduce you Kateryna Sokolova, Assistant Professor of the Advertising and Public Relations Department, with her speech, and topic is Victim at the Example of a Social Impact. Kateryna?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to present my project and to present you the state, which is currently what is going on with it, and did I stop or did I not stop, and it is actually developing very curiously for me as well, and I would really like to share the presentation. Just a second, hopefully it works. It works, but a bit slow. Here. So the topic of my presentation is victim as an example of a social impact. It started, why and how it started. The project was created in spring 2020. As a result of my personal experience and my eagerness to help people in trouble and also to solve social problems in Ukraine. So the presentation will be focused on personal experience, which made me react to this social problem, the purposes and expected results, which may happen soon, hopefully, and searching funding and promotion, and the current state and future plans. So as the brief information about the project and the way of the project, I would say that victim was born in the anger of the offended woman, and it is now growing into the peacefulness of the human. So the personal experience which led me to start this project in spring 2020 with my students of the PR and advertising department was the Frankfurt story, as I call it. So Alexandra Valus, she's present here. She invited me to attend the conference in Germany. And after that, I had some time and I went to Frankfurt. And unfortunately, as the poor Ukrainian scholar, I didn't have enough money to provide myself the great hotel. So I stopped in one of the city center hostels, as I do usually, because I travel a lot for work and just for my vacation time. So it was nothing special, and I didn't expect anything to happen. But you know, the policy of the modern world and the policy of Europe, it says that the rooms in the hostels, they should be common, like shared. So they are not divided into male or female, and in most of the hostels, I'm not saying that it is everywhere, but in most of the hostels, the rooms are common. And of course, I had one of these rooms, and it was a room for 12 people. And by the time I arrived, there were several beds taken, and I was very tired, obviously. And I went to bed. It was approximately 11 o'clock in the evening. And it is very hard, it is very easy to wake me up. And at night, I heard some sounds, and I heard some whining and some weird sounds, to be honest. And it appeared to be that one of men who was in the room, he was masturbating. And no one in the room, all people obviously heard that, but everyone ignored them, and no one called the police, no one called the administration, and no one tried to stop this man. So this ignorance actually, it made me realize how important it is to show, yeah, what's going on, and to accept the truth, and to try to fight it, and do not accept everything bad that happens to you. Yes, and so this situation really encouraged me, really helped me to start my project, and to help my students to produce the product which can in future help people in trouble. So, and as you know, especially in Ukraine, if you have the story and you are not sure that our police or maybe social services will react to it, you need to go to social networks. So if you have a story, go to social networks first. There you will find the truth. At least you will find some reaction, and negative reaction is also the reaction which will help you to develop your projects and your ideas. So I went on Facebook and I published the post which I will show you later. I shared the post with the whole story of what happened to me in Frankfurt. And I also added the questions to the audience, like whether they experience or whether they didn't experience the same situations, or maybe they experienced them when they were when they were children, and the comments were shocking. Of course, I will share them later because I need to show the post, and now I do not want to stop the presentation. So yeah, brief information now that I can tell you is that most people in the comments, they experienced the same stories for several times during their life, and most of it happened starting from 6 years old up to 17 years old. So it is the period when the child is developing, when they do not know anything about sexual education, because it is like it doesn't exist in Ukraine. So they do not know how to react. They do not know whether it's good or wrong, and they just, laughed at it and forgot about it. And they never told it to their parents. They never told it to their friends. It's just they laughed, they moved on, and they thought that it didn't have impact, but it is actually non-contact form of sexual abuse. So it is very important, as you can see, and I shared after sharing this post. And after reading the comments, I realized that I need to gather the statistics, and I need to do something. I need to encourage people to talk, because as soon as you talk, you get these stories, and people actually, when we have this whole picture, yeah, when people are sharing, we have this true statistics that we can see even online. Yeah, for example, like I told you yesterday, and like Vlad told you yesterday, he was encouraged to speak, yes, and he realized that it might help. So knowing this, I decided to create the website. There are a lot of resources, so you can go online and you can create whatever you want, and you can make your own blog. You can make anything, yeah, online, basically. Now we are doing the conference as well. So first I called the website "Call Things by Their Own Names." It was in Ukrainian. Називай речі своїми іменами. And I started this project with my students, as I told you before. And I decided to produce first the posters. So the idea was to produce the posters about sexual abuse and domestic violence, and to put them in our institute so that people can see and react, and to put there the QR code, which actually will allow people to come to our website and to read information, like where they can go, where they can get the information, who can help them if they're in trouble, if they cannot share, of course, obviously, because a lot of people are afraid to share. And unfortunately, the pandemic happened, and we had to finish our posters online. And after that, we published them on the website and created the supportive video, which we published on Facebook with the posters. So this post was shared in Feminism in Details. This is one of the gender organizations in Ukraine, and the results were very unexpected. So as soon as we posted the video, people started sharing it. People started react to it, and they were writing some positive comments like, "Thank you so much that you started to talk about it, because this topic is very like very dangerous, and it is very uncomfortable. You know, there are the topics in the world that make you move in your chair, you know, and even now when I say the word masturbation in the beginning of my presentation, I am sure that some of you, they didn't feel nice about it. They didn't like it, yes, because it makes us uncomfortable. And this inconvenience, it sometimes stops people from sharing it. So people start thanking me for sharing it. And I was so happy that I finally made some of my friend list speak, because I'm sure that they have their own stories, but they were not so, maybe not, I would not say brave, yes, they were not so motivated, yeah, as I was to share this. And they were afraid of the reaction, yes, of the audience online. And thanks to this project, they started to share their stories. And I will show you later that under the post shared afterwards by other people, people started writing their own stories. And it appeared to be that some of them, they wrote that the questions in the survey, which I provided, they were so true, and they were so important, that they wrote, this feeling when every answer is yes. And that was the time when I got really scared. And I understood that almost every person in our country experienced this non-contact form of sexual abuse. And sometimes people just believe that it is just funny. They do not realize that this is actually dangerous, and it can cause some consequences in future. So the posters, of course, I will share also after the presentation. And after sharing the survey on Facebook, obviously, I do not have a lot of friends on my Facebook page. I only have 900 people. So out of these 900 people, only 12 of them reacted to the original post about the Frankfurt story, which is very little. And unfortunately, not all people, as I told you before, like these topics. Yeah, they do not like showing that they like it. They do not want to leave the comments. They are shy. They are intimidated of this topic. And because of that, I have by now approximately 400 responses, from which I analyzed only 166 responses because they were created in different sources, and I really need to spend my time during my vacation, hopefully, to analyze all this information. So out of these 166 responses, 48.3% ignored the abuser. So basically, they were walking on the street. Then they saw the man who, showed showed their genitals to them, and they just ignored it. They just moved on, and they thought, oh, okay, yeah, it happened. Maybe I just want to pay attention, because who knows what might happen? Yeah, who knows how this person will react? We do not have this culture. We do not have this knowledge on how to react to the non-contact form of sexual abuse, especially the street harassment. We do not have the guidelines. We do not have the recommendations. And that's why people are trying to ignore that and trying to skip that. So out of 166 responses, 68.7% experience street harassment. Most of the respondents, they were, of course, women and young girls. The age range, of course, included from 17 up to 25 years old. That was the most year age gap. So, but these numbers are really shocking. And of course, this is only the beginning. And to get the representative results from all over Ukraine, because by now we have approximately 37 million residents in Ukraine, which means I need to collect at least 2,000 responses, or maybe up to 5,000 responses to have the representative results, which is a lot, and it needs the funding, and hopefully we will get it in future, and get the statistics, the real statistics. So 23.5% of the victims who experienced this non-contact form, they experienced it more than once in their life. So I wrote in the brackets that it was the exposure. Yeah, in legal documents, it is called exposure of the body, the naked body on the street. So more than once. Can you imagine that? So once, and some people wrote that once it happened when I was a child, when I was 6 or 7 years old, and the second time it happened when I was 20 or 25 years old. So it happens in different periods of time. No one is protected, and there is no policy which controls this, and it can be only administrative fee, and it is not criminal responsibility. So it is not precisely set in the law about the non-contact form of sexual abuse. So sexual abuse is very narrowly characterized in Ukrainian law, which makes it almost impossible to punish the abuser. So after that, and knowing Maxim Sitnitsky, who is here, and his activeness on Facebook, and his advertising of this context of the Big Idea Challenge, I decided, yeah, the time came, I can do it. This is not commercial project. No, it is the charity project. Of course, I understood that, but I understood also that I need the promotion. I need to find my audience, and I need to let people know about the project. So I decided to put victim in this context. And I recorded the speech, which can be shared with you later. You can watch it. And as you can see, thankfully to our university team, the project was chosen for participating in the final. And the victim, it became the finalist of the whole Ukrainian stage. So there were 3 finalists in social impact category, and one of them was victim. And of course, the stories behind stories. I started sharing this video. Yeah, we started recording the promotion, and I really like to share the promotion video which we made for this exact pitch. Mm, it involved a lot of people telling what can happen, yeah, to the person. And as I was writing the script for this video, I didn't realize that people will be intimidated by what they need to say. And some people, they refused. They refused to participate because were they were thinking that maybe the reaction of the audience will be not what we expect, yeah, from them. They were afraid of some blaming, some bullying, because you know how much hatred we have on social networks, and we needed to share it in social networks. So some people asked me to rewrite their sentence. Some people asked me to change their sentence, and I was really glad to do that because I really wanted to encourage people to start speaking, and that's why I was ready to change some text in order to make people speak. It was extremely important for me at the moment, and this video can be also shared with you, and maybe I will show it now if we have time. So this is what I call the stories behind the stories. Yes, when the person is refuses when the person refuses to say something, yeah, or maybe the person is intimidated by this topic, it means that they have their own personal experience and they have their own personal beliefs which really stop them from sharing and from discussing this topic. And this is when it gets the most dangerous, because we do not know the truth, we do not know the right statistics, and we are living like that in the world, and it really can harm people. And yes, you will see the video and you will understand what I'm saying because it's it was brilliant for me because I was really grateful to people who agreed, because I understand that it is very hard. Future plans. Future plans are very bright, and I hope that we will achieve everything. So it will be built, of course, brick by brick. It is not done at once. So first we need to promote, we need to involve as many people as possible and as many organizations as possible. There are some organizations like human rights in Ukraine, and also the feminism in details. There is the organization which is called discrimination, anti-discrimination, and also respect. This is the organization which is focused on the gender problems in the society, including the violence. And after the promotion, we will get the funding, of course, because now I am applying and applying and applying, and they're rejecting and rejecting and rejecting, because it is very hard to get the funding when you are alone. And also when you are not the NGO, and I'm not the NGO, I am just a regular scholar, yeah, working at the university. So it is even harder because you need to write it in the scholar projects, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And hopefully we will get some money, because now I gave my own money, I paid my own money to buy the domain for the website, because before that it was just victim, you know, blah blah blah, and now it is actually victim.org. people can easily access it. People can easily find it, and when they type the link in their browser. And hopefully, after finding the funding, it will get the solution, and it will help people. It will develop the escape rooms for the victims of the domestic violence. It will provide the legal defense for the victims, and it will as well make some recommendations for our ministries and recommendations for our lawyers to make some changes in the law and make it more precise, and to specify the kinds of violence which actually can happen, specify the kinds of sexual abuse which may happen. Because even the domestic violence app which we have the bot on Telegram provided by the National Police of Ukraine, which doesn't give the full list of the abuse which might happen to you, because they are providing the list of these types, but to make people understand whether they are in trouble, but they do not provide the full list. And it is the most dangerous thing when even national police doesn't know exact types of violence. You know, that's where we are in trouble, because we are not protected. We are not protected legally. We only can be protected by the NGOs, and some people, they just do not know. They do not have the context of these NGOs. So people really need help in Ukraine, and hopefully this project will help them in future. Now the presentation is over, but I would really like to show you the comments for the original post. Just a second. So here, this was the post when I was asking people to share the survey and to answer this survey. And here you see only 15 reactions, and we have 4 shares and the comments, 2 comments. And this is the girl that wrote the feeling when all the answers are yes to all the questions. So can you imagine the experience of the Ukrainian woman? This is awful. And then after sharing of another of my acquaintance, there were more comments and there were stories. So here in the comments, people actually wrote the stories, which was extremely important for me because it encouraged me to, you know, to put some light, on the real statistics in Ukraine. And I really hope that in future I will get a lot of support of the general public, and funding, of course, because funding. Without funding, you cannot get representative results, and you cannot go to the police and say, here, you have only 635 reported cases of rape, and actually the numbers are different. Here are statistics. Go and change the law. That's why it is done. Thank you very much for your attention. I really hope that the presentation was interesting. And one more second, this is the website. This is how the website looks like. So here you can find the posters which were made by the students. Here there are some stories published there in Ukrainian, but the translation is working, so you can translate them. They are anonymous because some people, they do not want to share their name. But there are also some information for the people who are in trouble. So with the contacts where they can contact, there is the blog where they can talk to each other, and there is this survey, and also there is the story about the woman who was raped in the USA, but no one believed her. So now no one believes us. but I hope that thanks to this project, they will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kateryna. That was super encouraging, and this was super emotional and important speech. I guess this is the great example how people should act, and this is a great example that we shouldn't be silent in this situation. Thank you again, Kateryna.